Hey gang, Chris Holowicki coming at you with a new comic book review. And today we're going to be looking at issue number 1 of Punisher. I just gotta say before we start, this is the first new release Marvel comic book that I have read in 8 years. I used to read comics very regularly. Up until 2015, I would show up every Comic Book Wednesday and spend at least $20 a week on new books. But when Marvel did their all-new, all-different relaunch, the whole tone of the entire Marvel universe kind of changed. And after a few months, I noticed I was just collecting comic after comic after comic, and they were just piling up, and I had no interest in reading them. It's actually hard for me to believe it's been 8 years, but this Punisher book, I saw advertised way in advance, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pick that up when it comes out. And here we are. I just read this book, and I got some things to say about it. First of all, let's look at the cover here. I really like the art. That's pretty much what brought me into the book, obviously. Just seeing stills of frames over the summer. And up at the top says, "The man is different. The mission remains the same." We're going to see about that. Okay, we open up. There's a blown up house. There's these two cop guys there. And I just gotta say, like, straight up, this comic has like a real basic, almost cliche story to it. Seems almost like a story template put down, but there's these two cops outside of a house that had just been blown up. And they're investigating, and the dialogue is actually pretty good. It sounds like something like dialogue between television cops. We have this guy who was investigating the crime scene, one of the cleanup crew. I noticed he's wearing a jumpsuit. He says, the firefighters are saying they think it was a gas leak. We're going to find out in 2 frames from now that it's ridiculous that the firefighters in this story have said that. And this cop's actions right here are also ridiculous. He opens up a vent up here and he sees an unexploded stack of dynamite with a timer or whatever attached to it. And instead of his first reaction being, all right, clear the room immediately, he's like, well, I'll be damned. Looks like we found a party favor that didn't go off. Somebody called a bomb squad and bring me that cup of coffee while you're at it. This is very, very strange that they would discover a bomb and and not be all that alarmed about it, because that could go off in his face at any second. Just to nitpick at the story here. Then we immediately cut to the Black Dragon Club. We have this, I believe, I'm guessing he's a Russian sort of hitman type. And he's surrounded by, if you guys know Mr. Negative from the Spider-Man comics, this is his inner demon gang. We get straight to the point. Our hero enters the bar. And he's like, he's looking for this guy. So we're assuming that this guy, who's probably our Punisher, is looking for whoever blew up this house. That results in a fight, and it's real cliche sort of lines we get here. The Sokovian paid us handsomely to protect him. And by my count, there are 8 of us and only 1 of you. You mean there's 8 of you for now? And he just starts shooting them. It's like really something we've seen 1,000 times. And then we lead in this action panel. It doesn't really have a lot of impact. The art's really nice, but there's not really any blood or anything. There's nothing in this book that I would say warrants the parental advisory. But yeah, it's not bad. He breaks a bottle over his face and he's covered in rum. Some more cliche lines. He's like, "Is that all you've got, American? For I wield the power of the man's darkest shadows." He's like, "Maybe. Beer's still soaked in rum. And I'm the one with the lighter." And sets him on fire. And I'm just, I was having fun with that. And I'm just like, yeah, that's really really silly, very cliche, but I'm all in there for it. We flash over to what I guess is his headquarters. Potential black lesbian here. Her name's Triple A. This is obviously going to be his microchip of the series. If you've seen Punisher Warzone, the guy who plays Newman, he played Microchip in Punisher Warzone, which is the best Punisher movie. And here's where things start getting a little screwy with the story for me. They're listening to a news report, and the guy says, I think he had a skull on his chest, him being a witness. You heard it here first. Is this the return of Frank Castle, or is there a new Punisher? And his reaction to that, he's like, damn ballistic chest plates. They can call me whatever they want if it keeps them looking in the wrong direction. So apparently this is accidental. And if you look at this and you see a skull, maybe you just have skulls on the brain. Contrary to what the cover says, the man is different, the mission remains the same. No, this guy is he's on a different mission. All right, this is when it's revealed that they're also looking for Joe Garrison, which is our new Punisher. Apparently the house bombing happened just a few hours before him shooting up the Inner Circle gang. He's already all done up in his new costume and has a sidekick and a base of operations already. So apparently all of this stuff happened in the same day. He's already tracked down the guy who bombed his family's house. So apparently she loaded his gun with tracker bullets that hit the guy he's looking for. So he tracks him. Right here, this is the Russian guy hiring some more people to help protect him. This guy turns out to be Mr. Hyde of Marvel fame. So we cut over to this flashback imagery, which looks like it maybe took place years ago. His family got blown up years ago. But no, all this yellow stuff, that happened probably like 6 to 8 hours before he's riding the motorcycle chasing this guy down into the subway. So he uses some shield tech that he has in his contact lenses to like see the past and find out which way his target went, and uses some more just shield skills that he had picked up to figure out that one of the walls is fake. Apparently, Mr. Hyde and these mercenaries were all hiding in a wall in the sewer, and he stumbles upon them, and then we end our next action scene. I really like this rail gun that he has. You can see when it unfolds, it's really complicated, and I could just imagine it being folded back into position. It seems like something that I would like a model of to play with. Yeah, so he uses the rail gun, and again, you expect he's using this crazy, powerful gun, like similar to the movie Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You'd expect to see these guys exploding with their body parts flying all over the place, but the one guy he shoots, there's a black cloud covering him. You can't really see. There's not really any gore. His gun is magnetized, so it pulls the guns out of their hands, and it's just guys flying around. Nothing to really warrant the parental advisory. Then we have Mr. Hyde doing a transformation, and again, this is really good art. He looks kind of like a mix between Marvel's Red Hulk and Solomon Grundy from DC Comics. And they get into a little fight here. I like the art. Everything on there, the facial expressions, everything. Yeah, so they get in a pretty decent action scene. This is really silly here. He blocks a punch from Hyde with a metal briefcase, but his back goes through a cement wall and a metal pipe. You see the metal pipe bending from him being put through it. And he says, I'm lucky the briefcase took the brunt of the hit. It's like, no, you'd probably be dead. Even with all your skull plates all over you, you're dead. But it's a comic book. I'm just fucking nitpicking. I just thought it was funny. He dispatches Hyde in a pretty cool way. The Russian he was chasing, he used a thing called mutant growth hormone as payment for protection. And when Hyde punched that briefcase, it all spilled out, shoved in his face, and I really like that frame right there. Gave him too much. Gave him too much roids. His heart probably exploded. So that was pretty cool. Next up, we are in a hostage situation where this, what's-his-face, Fedorov, takes this lady hostage on the subway. This is his only lead, so it's kind of a big deal. He doesn't want to kill this guy. He wants information out of him. But I actually really like this artwork here, symbolizing like the train passing by really quick and him being able to shoot in between the train cars while they zip by. Headshot. got revenge on the guy who bombed his family, but has no information. And it ends with, I'm ready to get back to work. So what, you're just going to be the Punisher now? So you're just going to like start taking random jobs, and maybe we'll find out more about who hired someone to kill your family. I mean, some of this book was silly, it was kind of stupid in parts, but overall, I was entertained. It was a fun 15-minute read. But would I recommend this? If you look right here, this comic book, which it's 29 pages in total for $6 that I got done with in 15 minutes. Would I recommend buying this? No. If you really want to read this, I would say, as of now, I would say wait until the trade paperback so you'll get more issues for your thing. But that's insane. Instead of buying Punisher #1, sign up for a month of, Peacock, and watch the entire first season of Twisted Metal. You'll have a one great binge session or a good week of entertainment to watch that'll last longer than this comic did, and it would actually be cheaper to go with that. It's just $6. Is that what comic books cost now? If this was a giant size issue, but I just showed you every single page. It's not a long book. There's not a bunch of extra stuff. Like usually in #1s, they'll have like the history of the Punisher or like a big interview with the writer and the artist behind it and concept art and all this stuff. But no, this is just a regular ass comic book, and at $6, that's insane. This is the other book I picked up today, which is what I'm going to review next. The series Superior Spider-Man Returns. This book is lighter than The Punisher that has no extra stuff in it. $7 for this. And man, I loved me some Superior Spider-Man a decade ago when this series was running, but I can't do more than $4 per comic. If it's going to be $5 a comic, it's just like maybe the comic industry should die because no one could afford that. How do you keep up with the Marvel universe? You're going to spend like $200 a month on books, picking up every new issue every week. It's not sustainable for, I can't imagine anyone who wants reading comics as a hobby to be able to put up with these ridiculous prices, because right now I could pick up a better issue of The Punisher that came out 30 years ago in mint condition pretty much for $3 at the same comic shop I bought this from. So we don't really need new books with a Punisher that they've released probably, let's be real, for political reasons, because the comic industry kind of had it in for Frank Castle and the Punisher logo for a long time. And they even mentioned that in this book that it's not supposed to be a skull, which maybe I'm reading a little too much into it. But that design is awesome. This whole character design is great. But yeah, just the quality of the book versus the price, nah. I wouldn't. If I was, I wouldn't suggest buying it. But I thought it was pretty good. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, motherfuckers. And until next time, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bong for notifications. Stay metal, and hail Satan.